welcome to Singapore.
Thank you very much.
How has it been?
Siew.
What have your impressions been since you moved here
Well,
a year ago, about a year ago?
A bit over a year ago. Well, it has been a great experience. It has been a great journey. I am from Spain, and I have been in Asia Pacific several times before, traveling for business, traveling for leisure, and it's very different to live in one place versus just passing by. When I came to Asia before, I realized it's a big region. There are many diversities. There are many differences between one country and the other, or one sub-region and another. But it's only when you live here that you can really get deeper into that and also appreciate the commonalities, because there are many commonalities across the region.
Right. You also worked in Latin America before, right?
Yes.
And do you see similarities between the consumer markets here?
Well, I think that there are some similarities indeed. Probably the one that I would reflect on more in terms of something common between Latin America and Asia Pacific is in the interaction with customers. You can see that they are demanding, that they want you to go above and beyond what you have committed in the contract, but at the same time, they are very explicit about recognizing the value of the solutions that you bring to the market.
Right. So they're not just complaining, but they actually do appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is very common to Latin America and Asia Pacific. It's less common, I would say, in other regions.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So I know Amadeus has been making great inroads into North America.
Yeah.
Some of the results are quite great. You know, how is it doing in APAC? Are you making as good inroads into APAC? And are you here to obviously increase that?
Yes. Look, the good thing is that the travel sector in APAC is very strong right now. The recovery is there. It's a very solid trend. And for us in the business of travel, we're basically very happy because we are, on the one hand, riding the wave of that recovery. And also what we see is that we're expanding the business with new customers, with existing customers. And something that I'm particularly pleased about is that we see that we're making inroads in new spaces for Amadeus, such as payment and airport.
So, right, payments, which we just talked about. And, you know, we had a coffee chat just now with Gaurav from TBO, right? And he shared some amazing human data points about India. And that is clearly, you know, we were talking about frontier markets and emerging markets that will have impact on the world. And I think Asia has a lot of those markets, right?
Absolutely.
Which market are you most excited about?
Well, I like all of them, but when we look at the projections, what we see is that in approximately 5 to 10 years from now, 6 out of the 10 largest travel markets in the world will be in Asia Pacific. And yes, of course, it's China, it's India, it's Japan, probably no surprise to anyone. But then you have other places like Indonesia, like Vietnam, and like Thailand, which will also be in that top 10 list. So that is amazing. It's a big opportunity for us in the region and a big responsibility as well.
At the opening, I shared a data point about airports, right, which was provided by Sobi Aviation, basically saying that all airports are back about 70% recovery across APAC. The only 2 airports that have recovered 100% is Delhi and Mumbai.
Absolutely.
What kind, are you seeing similar recovery
Yes,
trends?
well, what we see, the good thing is that we see that all of the countries are recovering, all of them, without no exception. But then the recovery is not homogeneous. You have some countries like India, which are booming. And then you have some others, perhaps like Japan would be the example for that, which are lagging a little bit behind, also growing, also recovering. But international traveler is not picking up as fast as in the rest of the countries.
I'm not being rude looking at my phone while you're speaking to me. It's very Asian, but you know, I'm not being rude deliberately. But I just received a press release from Amadeus, and I just thought it would be interesting since we talked a lot about music today. And it talks about how the Amadeus data unveils the surge in flight demand for Taylor Swift and Coldplay concerts in Asia Pacific.
Okay.
Right, and so that is a booming market for Asia Pacific. Yeah,
absolutely. One of the things that we monitor all the time is what's what's driving the volumes. And it's interesting to see that it's not just the level of, or the volume of transactions that are completed, but also what happens before. The amount of searches that happen when there's a big event like concerts or the Formula One in Singapore or any other big event is just amazing. So we detect that before the events happen and before the transactions take place.
So have you got your Taylor Swift and Coldplay tickets yet?
Not yet, but I would love to go.
So one of the things that Javier told me is that since we are talking about the human revolution, is how important APAC is to you and your wife, because it is almost a second honeymoon, to come here and be romantic. And we have a photo of you enjoying a romantic moment with your wife in your new life in APAC, so that's and that's so romantic and simple, right? And I know Amadeus is all about simplifying things, right? So one of the topics that other than AI that is dominating conferences, especially airline conferences, is the three-letter word NDC, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you have been in air distribution most of your career.
Sure.
So it's been talked about for 10 years. Do you think this is truly a step-changing moment for NDC?
Yes, I believe so. I think there's no way back. I believe that the transformation of the retail in the industry is unstoppable. It's going to be primarily based on NDC, but also other features such as offer order management. And I think that there's no way back. The only thing is that there will be players that will be moving faster than others. There will be front runners and others that will be lagging behind. And one of the big responsibilities that companies like Amadeus have is to make sure that we can accommodate and service the speed of the front runners, and we invest and we deploy in the solutions. But at the same time, we do not leave anyone behind. At the end of the day, it's an interconnected industry. Mm-hmm. Players have to talk between each other. There has to be transactions. There has to be cooperation. And we will face a transition period in which the old will coexist with the new. And this is where players like Amadeus play an important role, because we'll need to make it happen.
But how long will this transition period be?
That is the million-dollar question. I wish I knew. I think that in terms of transformation, the only similar transformation that the industry has gone through, specifically the airline industry, is the elimination of the paper ticket.
And that took
15 years.
15 years.
And here we do have some airlines that are working with us, and we're supporting them, like Finnair, for example, that have very publicly stated that they will move to 100% NDC by 2025. But we know that that will probably be an exception, and there will be few airlines that will be able to be at that level.
Right. So you have, am I right in saying you have 30 airline NDC contracts?
Well, we have more than that. Actually, right now, what we have is implemented in our NDC GDS, which we call NDCX. We have implemented 22 airlines. Mm-hmm. And we see a rapid growth in the volume of transactions from a low base, that's true. But we have already a few airlines that are doing more than 20% of their transactions via the Amadeus GDS on NDC, and that is great.
Right. So NDC will mean big changes for everyone, including OTAs, right?
Yeah.
Not just the offline. So who will suffer the most? Who do you think will lose out the most in this transition period, which is going to take a lot of investment, retraining?
I think it's more about focusing on the opportunities, because I really believe that this transformation will be opportunities for everyone, starting with the travelers. The travelers will be able to have access to more tailored content and offers in terms of products, services, and so on. The travel sellers as well will be able to have more offers for their customers. The airlines will be able to have more differentiation. They will be able to strengthen their brand. So, look, I think that we have to focus on the opportunity, which will be there for everyone. It is true, we'll need to continue to invest, we'll need to manage the transition and apply change management techniques, but at the end of the day, there's an upside for everyone.
Okay, so do you want to take a guess as to when Edifact will disappear?
No.
All right. I mean, not 2025, right? Okay, which is what Finesse said. Okay, so after that, after NDC, which will take a while, what's the next step change to come for airlines? Is it digital identity? Is it app for the industry?
Well, airports, for example, is a big domain. I think that we're all dreaming as travelers to go through the contactless and seamless airport experience. And thanks to biometric and other technologies, I think that the industry has already made big inroads there. We are part of that. We are, for example, here in Singapore, we are powering the auto backdrops, which are based on biometric technology, but we have other cases like in Hong Kong, Paris,
as well.
Tokyo Narita, where we have some examples of implementation of our biometric technology. But that is only the first step. We are more ambitious than that. We have a concept of the airport of the future, which is basically about contactless and seamless. And look, one thing that makes me particularly excited is that we have won 2 contracts for new greenfield airports, one in Noida, which is the new airport of New Delhi, and another one for the new airport in Sydney, where we're going to be able to have the opportunity to deploy this concept of the airport of the future.
Right, so
and
what is the most exciting concept for the airport of the future? What will it feel like?
Well, it looks like going from the taxi in the curbside to the plane without stopping at any checkpoint. Just you go.
Okay, Noida and South Sydney. All right.
Yeah.
So I know we talked yesterday at the Amadeus, the travel tech think tank, the sponsored by Amadeus, and we talked about the connected trip, right? And Amadeus has been talking about it a long time, the A to Z platform.
Sure.
What stage are you at? Are you at M or Y or A?
I think we are at M, probably.
N? Okay.
Yes, because at the end of the day, if we want this end-to-end travel concept to work, what we need is cooperation by all the actors in the industry. And for cooperation, you need to be able to interact, work together, exchange information. And this is precisely what we're trying to do. We're building what we call the creation platform, which is basically an open, based on the cloud ecosystem, where all the parties in the travel industry, from airlines, hotels, and other providers to travel sellers, technology companies, can work together in making this end-to-end dream a reality.
So the new operating system for travel.
Exactly.
That's what you're building. Okay, that's very utopian, right? I mean,
well,
but you're at N. You're at N.
Yeah, but the good thing is that we have made progress, and we're already seeing the benefits of that. So I think that it's a reality that will come true very, very soon.
Okay, so AI, all right? Again, that's the next step change in travel.
Sure.
How many engineers are working on it in Amadeus?
That's a good question. I think that we have thousands of engineers that one way or the other are involved in AI activity. We have more than 100 concrete use cases being deployed or under development right now, which carry generative AI as the backbone. And it's an area where we see tremendous opportunity for upside, for generating value to the industry. We recently announced that on the self-booking tool space, our tool for corporations, we are partnering with Microsoft to develop a digital chatbot, all powered by AI, which will make the life of the corporate traveler easier when it comes to booking travel, searching for travel, exchanging with colleagues for travel plans, and then servicing travel at the end. So, and we have several use cases which are great.
Right. So for the younger audience here, the startups, the entrepreneurs who are looking to come to travel and solve a pain point, where the opportunities are. name 3 areas that you think they should be looking at, to solve problems for. Just three areas of travel.
Payments.
Payments.
I think that we just covered in the previous session, and I think that is important. Then the servicing of the traveler.
Servicing of traveler. Okay.
Yeah, and airport.
And airports.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Amadeus is investing in payments, right? You've created an independent company called Outpace.
Yes.
So tell me why you're doing that.
We have been active in payments since a long time ago, and one of the things that we have realized is, number one, that there's a pain point to resolve, because payments in travel has many particularities that bring challenges that are specific to the travel industry. And we thought that the best way of addressing that is by getting involved with the knowledge that we have of the travel industry. And also because we see an opportunity to generate more value to the customers and to generate more business for us as well. And actually, it's interesting that we're talking about simplifying the payments for travel, because the tagline of this new company is payments simply paid. Or travel simply paid, which gives you an idea of what is it that we're trying to achieve here. And I think that the interesting thing here is that what we are doing is we're integrating the payment capabilities with the backbone of the infrastructure of the industry. And this is something that we are doing since several years ago, but now we're going to press on the accelerator and do it in a much more determined way.
Right. So do you agree with the last panel that it's absolutely possible to completely eradicate merchant fees?
I don't know if completely eradicate, but I think that optimize, yes.
Okay. So what's the primary role of humans, though, in travel as we go into this world of tech?
Okay. Look, I think that at least when I travel and what I think about my travel experiences, there's always an emotional component there. You go to a new place, you may meet new people, you interact, you discover things, you eat new foods, and in all of that, there's a very strong emotional component. And yes, technology and systems and processes can help transact, can help optimize the processes and the travel experience. But at the end of the day, there's always a cherry on the cake that can only be delivered by humans, which is the emotional experiences. And I think that's it.
So that hasn't changed since forever.
Since forever.
But
exactly.
Tech will help us deliver the emotional experience better, right?
Yes.
Which is what you're enjoying in Singapore with your wife. We want to bring back to simplicity, right? And I'm just going to ask you to share some marital secrets here. The human test, okay?
All right.
What is your best second honeymoon recommendation?
Second, okay, all right.
Well,
wow.
How many have you been on?
Well, I mean, to be honest, what I think that I'm very fortunate, because being here in Singapore, just with my wife, my kids being adults living in Europe, it's an opportunity to be like sort of in a permanent honeymoon, traveling to these places around Singapore, which are so exotic and so interesting. But okay, so trying to answer your question and go to the point, and there are many places in Asia that would qualify. I'm going to share with you and the audience a place which is very special to me, because I think that when you think about honeymoons, there are many things that you have to take into account, but there has to be some excitement, there has to be fun, and there has to be a bit of romance as well, or a lot of romance. No? So when I think about a destination that has all of these criteria, there's one that is very much in my heart, which is Colombia. Colombia is a country that has the excitement of the tropical rainforest. It has the fun of the salsa, merengue, dancing clubs everywhere. It has the romance of the colonial cities and the Caribbean beaches. So, yeah.
Well, that's legend. So have you found anywhere in Asia that ticks those three boxes yet?
Yeah, too many.
So, but you have time because you're on your permanent honeymoon.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, please thank me. Please thank Javier. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Keep it simple.
Thank you.
Thank you.